Hello, you spiders from the interwebs. Today is the 17th of March 2024, and it is currently 7:06 o'clock. Or should I say 19:06, because that's what I'm currently reading. The weather outside is... it's gone darker than the moment I wrote down the points for this thing. But it is very, very dark and cloudy outside. It almost looks like a fine painting. But yes, I'm drinking a nice Yorkshire tea, freshly brewed, still above room temperature at least. Oh, sorry for cracking my knuckles there. But today I want to talk about ideas, feelings, and I guess art in general, and also what I've been up to. I'm Matthew, by the way. If you've watched me before, you know that. But if you're new, hello, happy to meet you. So, right, let me bring it up right now. Where is my community post that I posted? Actually, I should have just gone on Tumblr, so I wouldn't have to switch accounts. Yes, I said, I'm currently working on a AIG analysis video that will be coming out in the near future. I'm also thinking about making a tiny podcast for myself so I can ramble about stuff I'm doing behind the scenes. So this is that. I'm probably going to call it like the ramble tapes or something, because I'll probably be only talking about horror stuff and, I feel like that fits the mould of a podcast, kind of like that. Also, it will just be me talking into a mic whilst having things to discuss. So, it's a tiny little podcast. Can't guarantee we'll hit an hour, but who wants to really sit there for an hour listening to my my sultry voice? No, that's awful. But yeah, I made that post on Tumblr and my YouTube, posts, community tab. So, I guess if you know me personally, you'll know I'm a massive fan of horror, even though, I wouldn't say I watch a lot of horror movies, but, I have been slowly watching the classics. Like, I've got Silence of the Lambs to watch still. Still haven't got on that yet. And also, I'm not a massive fan of, slasher movies, because it's like Scream. It's like, I'm a bigger fan of, psychological horror, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean. There's plenty of them. I also love that aspect in games most of the time. Most of my favourite games are psychological horrors, such as Doki Doki Literature Club, and I can't really say Silent Hill is my favourite. I like what it's doing, but I can't say it because I haven't finished the second remake, and I think the third game is weirdly hard to navigate, but I enjoy the music of it. The music is great. Oh yeah, and Omori, that's a nice little psychological horror, and the art is absolutely amazing in the game. I cannot recommend it enough. But yeah, the story is heart shattering, and the music just works very well in its favour, and still it bangs. The art is so good. It is I think most of it's hand-drawn. Hey, why do I like this horror? Why do I like all this horror stuff? Horror's scary, why would you like that? I think somewhere in my mind there's something implanted, which is getting someone to feel scared is like winning the lottery, basically. And not to sound like a psycho or anything like that, but it's just like rewarding to make someone feel a certain way based on like something you do. It's just, I think it's like very well it's very rewarding, I think, to like I mean that's why we make art, isn't it? To make people feel something. And right, I have a theory of where this all came from. I have it somewhere in this notebook that I have. Oh my god, 7 years ago. Okay, so when I was 11 years old, you know, still developing and everything, one of my favourite YouTubers at the time, who was formerly known as Albert Stuff, and with the new channel Flamingo, started posting like Roblox Myths video. If you don't know, Flamingo is a Roblox YouTuber, but he still holds up. He's quite funny still. But yeah, he started doing videos on like spooky Roblox games. And one of them really stuck with me. He started by doing one by the name of like a player called 00_05, and they have like a weird cult group or something, and they also have like a community tab where if you press a link it gives you a download. I still think that's a virus, even though it's not been taken down at all. It's weird how it's still kept up. It like instantly downloads to your computer. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, that's you know, that's only the beginning of it. And then of course the big thing was Rust0_10, which was like a massive series, and like there was like many codes to decipher. In some way, this is like my first ARG, I guess. It really made me interested in solving who is this guy, what is he doing. But you know, of course, now that that myth is ended, we all know it didn't really have like a linear timeline or any story behind it. It was just creepy for the, you know, the fact of being creepy and all that. Oh yeah, but it influenced me so much that I made my own like sub ARG, which is like, it was like I'm a detective and I'm gonna figure out all these myths. But it's funny how I made a myth of the detective solving myths. Like, young child me was really cooking something up there. But yeah, I think that's funny to think I started my first ARG when I was like, what did I say, 11 years old. And mind you, they weren't the best, but they did like, I was like figuring out filters and editing and like what makes something creepy, and like Morse code and binary code. Like I got all of those in at such a young age. But like with no direction really. I would just play scary games and be like, this is the video recording of them. And it was like that. You know, I put messages everywhere, and I think I had a website domain which I don't think is findable right now. I mean, I've looked it up before, and yeah, it's still there. I'm surprised on how it worked. I think it was a Wix domain. Wix? Yeah, that's who did that. But yeah, I was doing crazy things. I even made like a physical file on a quick tangent, sorry about this. I had a Team Fortress file with all the like metas in there, like Pyro Shark, which is where you get this neon sign, and then whilst they're in water it immediately kills them. That was a meta, and it was quite a fun thing to do. I watched a lot of Muselk as a child. That's where that came from. But anyway, yeah, I had a physical file on this Rust010 guy. Oh, and he made like YouTube. Oh my god. Right. So on top of me making a sub ARG, the other people in the comments of Rust's YouTube video, and then there was fake Russ, who had other fake, well, not fake, but like spin-offs, spin-off accounts, or sub-accounts, who would make equally spooky stuff, and like, I mean, usually it was just like pre-existing creepy media, edited up with other ones, other similar creepy media videos. But yeah, it was always interesting to me, and I mean, no, I mean that's probably why I love it so much. There's like a nostalgic feeling about going back to a ARG or starting up a new one, because it feels like me again at 11 years old trying to solve this stupid ARG which didn't have a story. And well, it wasn't stupid. The games were very well made, and they had like some crazy artificial intelligence on it. God, when I said this was going to be a ramble like podcast, I didn't expect like 15 minutes of like possibly unusable stuff to come out of my mouth. Alright, so in these comment sections of Rust video, there were, like I said, the other accounts which were made by people trying to do like, you know, spooky, scary, edgy videos. And oh my god, you know, there's like a beauty to that. Like late 2010s, I guess. Wait, that is like, you know, 2008. Yeah, 2018, like real late. But there was like a beauty to it. Like, people had all these ideas, and they were like, let's just post this random thing, this random spooky, disturbing thing online, and yeah, see who comes across it. Right. Now, here's why I bring up the sub-accounts, really. The sub-accounts were more interesting than the actual ARG to begin with. You see, right, I had, like, names of people who, like, started their own, like, Rust project. It was people like, T space Herd, which is third, but like just spaced out. Then there was Office, but with a 1 instead of an I, and there was Rust Trust, which was a reference to the NPC Rust Trust. And then there was Error. You can make out that. But yes, when I was like 11 years old with a YouTube account, I managed to find these equally creepy people. Well, not not creepy people, but people creating creepy media. Well, or editing creepy media in some cases. But I found them as a 11-year-old child, and well, let's just say I was in like a sub community of these people. So the people who made these videos basically all knew each other, but like, not, just over the internet. So I became some form of a prominent figure, but not like one who would make videos, but just probably someone who would just comment and be like, what's going on here? And of course, Rust had this whole thing with like the analog smiley face. So of course we adopted that into our. Honestly, it felt a bit like a cult, but it wasn't. It was just people on the internet who know about this one Rust thing and made like little offshoots of it and like little communities around the offshoots. Genuinely insane. I don't think I've heard of a single situation like that, but I guess I wouldn't have, because probably none of you know about T-Herd or Office. You probably know about Rust Trust if you have heard of Rust 0.10. But yeah, basically that's probably my first experience in life, and also I watched a lot of game theory growing up, with the concept of a ARG and solving puzzles to like solve a story. And I might have I wouldn't have known it at the time, but this is a very fulfilling art. It's like me myself today, I find that horror is a great genre because, like I said before, I feel fear is my favorite emotion to make people feel. It's like a success. It's like waiting behind a door for somebody to open it and go, ah. Only the fact that you're not doing that and you're trying to actually make them uncomfortable, which is just a offshoot of frightened, I guess. Yeah. I think having that whilst growing up made me understand what art I want to put out into the world, because obviously I have my YouTube channel now, which I do mostly on gaming and reviews, and sometimes the one-off reaction or analysis video, which, by the way, watch out for the new ARG analysis video, which is coming out soon. As I said in the post, in the near future, so I don't expect anything like right away, or like in the next 2 weeks maybe, because I'm still writing up the script, and oh boy have I got a lot to say, and oh boy is there a lot to cover, and some of the stuff you just can't miss. It, like, if you understand, and also it's a very small one. Like, it's almost if I went on to like r/ARGs and then sorted by new, picked out one which had a YouTube link on it, and just followed that all the way through. It's pretty much the same as doing that. Only this one has one piece of coverage and just a very, very small community behind it. A community which is very... It depends when they're active, really. Like, say we got a bunch of lore on this ARG. I think they would, like, attach to it like flies to a rotten banana or something like that. But, oh boy, I love this ARG so much, but I can't say much because I'll be saying everything in the video. Video. And, oh boy, I beg you, peel your eyes for that. I'm thinking about doing like a super cool intro for it. I say super cool, I try to big it up, but what if it isn't that cool? At least I'll be trying, at least. I'll make it as cool as I think is cool. I don't know what I'm saying. Yes. I might as well talk about, like, whilst writing the script for this analysis of the ARG, I have been working on my own ARG. Alright, well, as I said, since 11 I was making, like, creepy, and technically it was an ARG, but there was no story, much like the Rust one. But I'm currently writing technically my third one, because I did start another one like last year, and since I didn't write a complete story for it, I'm kind of stuck there. And I now know the golden rule for making an ARG project. You have to at least write one season's worth. I like to give that the term, but you have to have the story. You have to have what you want it, who the characters are, the story. What happens. What's the still overarching theme of it all. But like one season's worth. You know who the characters are, what's happening. Write that all in one, then you can get started. I wouldn't even say then you can get started. You must have everything timelined, write everything, have everything timelined, have everything recorded, then send it out there. And once that's done, you can get back to writing season 2 or something like that. Or if it hasn't, if it hasn't got like a season 2 or anything, just make sure you know all the ins and outs and everything. Like doing a season 2 will be easier because you have established characters and everything who, you know them now. But yeah, that's something I didn't do for funnily enough, the last 2 ARGs that I've done. And I'm thinking of ways of linking the two. Well, no, not the two. Linking the last one I did, because I think there is something there. I just didn't attack it at the right approach. I didn't at the right angle. I didn't get to say what I wanted to say. But making it more and more, not just relying on one like gimmick. It's gonna be real good when I actually start making one. But whilst writing this, I've been like, no, funnily enough, I've taken a different approach. Most of you probably don't know that I also dabble in making music. You've probably seen like the bass guitar in my videos. If you have, this isn't your first time here. And you've probably seen the keyboard next to me from time to time. Yeah, I've recently fallen into love with like atmospheric tracks, and like I've been listening to the Twin Peaks soundtrack. Rest in peace, David Lynch. But yeah, I've been listening to the Twin Peaks soundtrack, and I think for my ARG, which will come out, I would love to have like a soundtrack like that. Like, I think the intro music is so, it's like I love it. I don't know what exactly it is about it. It just has like, it's not eerie, but it's like you're seeing the town of Twin Peaks, but like through a photograph instead of like what's happening within the town. That's just one way to say it. But yeah, I've found an interest in soundtracks, and I've been listening to C418 also. His work on the Minecraft soundtrack is of course what I know him from, but he has these wonderful like atmospheric pieces that I just would love to incorporate into this horror project of mine. So I've started like with a Yamaha keyboard and bass and everything that I think I'm just gonna make a load of songs, and whichever ones get onto the soundtrack is totally up to me in the final, like, edit or cut. And maybe you'll hear all of them one day, but I don't know. The funny thing is, you know how I was talking about, like, atmospheric tracks and everything? I'm also thinking about making, like, pop music specifically made for my AIG, much like how you know, Twin Peaks had their own original, like, songs and lyrics to go along with it. And I think that's like such a interesting thing. You wouldn't, like, you know, people these days would be like, oh yeah, let's put this popular song in the soundtrack, you know, it's so cool. And, you know, no hate to those. I'm sure there's some, like, movies and shows which do that, and, you know, it adds, like, realism, but it kind of does date them at the same time. I mean, well, to an extent, because, of course, any film would be dated. Like, if you look at Twin Peaks, for example, yet again, you can definitely tell it's the 1990s, because, of course, like, you know, it's it's filmed in a square. It's the camera is, like, slightly grainy. Like, you can. It's these small little things, and also, like, the atmosphere around it is definitely not made in, like, any form of the 2000s. But yeah, I think having popular music from that time, well, from, you know, like, the time of making the show or movie. Oh, I dropped my bracelet. It does date it, and I feel having an original score just, it, like, makes the product fully yours, and also you don't have to worry about, like, license issues. And I think, well, that's easier, but it does take a lot more time. And you know what? I applaud that. And that's pretty much what I'm doing now. Before I even start the story or anything, well, I have an idea in mind, and off of that I'm working on the music. I'm thinking, what if there's, like, a real impactful scene? What would I need for that? What if something terrible happens? What would I need for that? What if it's peaceful? What do I need for that? What sound effects might I want? What, like, distortion might I want? It's, you know, you gotta put everything into account. And you gotta think, background music, maybe CD player music, because I have one of those, by the way, yeah. Old school, hashtag old school. But yeah, horror's, like, a real important thing. It's like, I feel like you shouldn't be making horror for, like, so scary, so scary. You want to tell something. You want to tell a story, first of all. The priorities of making horror shouldn't be, oh, I'm so scared. The top priority is story. Well, actually, no. Top priority is feeling, story, horror. And that's how it should go. You should always take the feeling of the project into account before doing anything, I think, in my personal opinion. This way you can keep your sight set on what you want to say, what you want to do. And I've seen before, I was watching David Lynch's masterclass. Some people say they don't have anything to say, and I'd say I guess I was kind of that type of person who would say, well, I don't have anything to say. But if you don't have anything to say, you have something to show. Everybody has something to say, but it isn't. Nothing is always said with words, that's the thing. You can say something but not make it totally explicit, which sometimes that's the best way to go about it. And personally, I think it is. But that's my way of doing things. You know, maybe you... oh, God. Maybe you do want to, you know, say something explicitly and make it known. But, of course, you gotta think of how to do that. You know, how to make it proper, make it fit, make it feel, you know, realistic, I guess you could say. But, of course, not everybody's aiming for realism, but you gotta make it, I'm thinking, proper, suited. But yeah, that, you gotta take into account the project before you start doing anything crazy. I'm saying you shouldn't just make cheap movies and everything. You should make things. You should make things that are a new idea and everything. Like, this is me saying, we don't need another a sequel to like an already you know, well-established franchise, because people are scared to make risks now and everything, and you know, who am I to say, you're not making anything new, you're not putting anything new on the table, when I haven't made anything. But of course, I'm telling you now, I'm going to make something new. Of course, not everything is entirely, like, new. But the things that you take and create, like, there's been concepts which have already been established, but nothing is ever exactly the same. It's about the way you do it. Like... I could take a David Lynch analogy. Yeah, I've been talking a lot about him, but he's definitely who I'm focused on right now. I'm like hyper focused on him. It's like, you know, he says ideas are like fish. So if you have an idea, like, you know, there's like different types of fish. You got a salmon. The salmon is the horror. But the way you make that horror is all dependent on the person. You know, you could season it with stuff and everything, but it's about the way you make it. And I think I'm getting lost in my own thought, but basically, nothing is ever original. Like, you have all these types of you have all these salmon and you have all these recipes. But if you do anything remotely different with it, the response might be great or negative. Like, maybe, like, covering the salmon in, like, gravy or something. Not American gravy, by the way. British gravy. But you could do it with American one. Maybe that'll be better. But yeah. That's pretty much how I see originality in coming up with concepts. Like, and also, right, when you yourself are making like a horror project or an ARG, you don't want it to be like super inspired off of another thing. Like, the amount of Roblox ARGs and Minecraft ones, they're the only thing that shows up when you type in the YouTube search bar. They're the only things that appear. Minecraft and well, actually, it's Minecraft, Roblox, and sometimes Gary's Mod. And it all are inspired off of like one thing that has been done before. You know, it's fine. Take inspiration. Do what you need to like actually start creating something that might be good in the future. But it feels like a surplus at this point. Like, yeah, all these people are doing something cool, but it just, I don't see originality from it. There's always like this one scary little thing that happens in the game, like you're playing all alone and this creepy guy shows up. That's the same concept for Herobrine. You know how mad that is? It's just in a different medium. It's like here's a little one for you. A painter is painting a painting, but there's a guy in the painting which he didn't paint. That's probably a movie, actually, now that I think about it. Tell me what movie that is, because I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But yeah, it just feels uninspired, and I would say my favourite ARG is like probably something like Marble Hornets or 10 Tapes, I think it's called. Although I don't think I've finished 10 Tapes, but yeah, Marble Hornets is like what the earliest ARG known to man, unless you count it's Cicada something. I know I'm supposed to know all about these, but I don't really care about Cicada too much. Since there's like, I'm pretty sure there's no overarching theme with it. And yeah, what do you call it? Oh yeah, 10 Tapes is heavily inspired off of Marble Hornets. I mean, Marble Hornets will probably be my all-time favourite. The acting is not the best. But I mean, like, yeah, the acting could be better, and maybe that would have made it more stronger in the way you feel about it. But what actually happens and the story with it is really, really good, and I love it to bits. And no wonder 10 Tapes would do similar things, like, you know, have these tapes that he gets, and it has you know, like little messages by this unknown character. You know, they're all good, but I just can't stand like the ones without people in it. I feel like there's just a lack of acting. People are too scared to be like acting in their own like projects. Nobody's got like a camera now and is going out and going, oh, this is real spooky. I miss that. That was real good. You know, actually recently I've been searching up like homemade horror, which is quite a fun thing to do. I would recommend anybody do it. Just go on YouTube, search up homemade horror, and then look at the playlists and like anything that appears. And it's always like fun, like college work. Like, of course, I did something similar when I went college. We made I think a horror trailer, a horror movie trailer. I have some experience when, you know, with college work and everything. I'm just sad that most of my brilliant ideas didn't come to fruition. And now that I'm like on my own doing stuff, and well, maybe I can get some of my friends to join in when I need them. I actually do plan to get my friend Nathan. You probably would have seen him in both the brain rot videos I did. It's like my third and fourth video. But yeah, I'm planning on running us like ideas by him, see what he thinks, and then I'll determine that, and then maybe switch some things up, because it's always good to have like another person telling you some feedback, so you're not like only going off of your own opinion. You're also going off of an opinion of a person who could watch this or experience this or feel this. Which is also another thing. When you actually like do reach the like production and post-production stages of creating a project, you should, like, I know it's like a thing where like you would want to keep it secret, so then when you finally do show it off, it'll be like this big thing. But sometimes you do need to, like, I wouldn't say everybody's opinion matters, but I think just having someone telling you some things that you might want to change, but if you disagree with that and it goes against what you're doing, then you don't have to take that advice, of course, because it's what you're doing and you don't need to change it. But if it is genuinely something that you think, oh yeah, maybe I could fix that, you should do it. Or, well, yeah, if you agree with it, do it. And since you will probably do it, since you agree with it. Right. Oh yeah. Just quickly, I did remember a Twitter AIG that I used to, well, really like. I think I watched, was it Nightmind, I think, who made a video on it? Hold on. But yeah, I was a big fan of Gregory88, which is basically this guy moves into a house when I think someone dies and he inherits the house. It's great, and then it's like in a weird neighborhood. It's very, very good, and if you are interested in getting into like internet horror, that's definitely one place to start, because oh my god, I love it to bits. I honestly think I can end it here. I don't, like, I've got some other things I do want to say, but I don't know how I could possibly transition into them right now. So I'll probably edit some of this, and then if it keeps going, you'll know. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. And also, because I'm going to be doing these like semi-frequently, you should, well, if you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and also if you're listening to this on Spotify, I don't know, save it. Is that what you do? But yeah, thank you all for joining me. I'll see you guys later.